This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. If you didn't see the video I did yesterday on 5G on the kill vector, I recommend you watch it before you watch this video, or definitely watch it after so you can understand what I'm talking about. This was a video I was going to put up exclusively on the website, uprisingrevival.com, but I'm going to put it here on YouTube. I'm going to risk the strike because I'm a new YouTuber and it's a new channel. So a warning would just be, if I got a strike, I'd get a warning. I'd still be able to upload. This is the type of video that people need to see. So again, these videos that I'm putting up are only going to be up for 14 days on YouTube. Then they're going to be available exclusively on the website. So make sure you watch the videos within a 2-week window. That way it can avoid the algorithm and it's seeing content sitting there and people reporting that content. It'll be a quicker way. I've been testing this out on different channels and it has seemed to work as in regards to keeping those channels alive and active. So this video is in regards to 5G and the movie The Cell. You may remember the movie The Cell, Stephen King's movie The Cell. I covered it before and I'm going to show you the trailer clips again for it. It has everything to do with that previous video. It has everything to do with potentially what's occurring on October the 4th. Now, if you didn't see the video on October the 4th, I'm going to cover it more leading up to it. October the 4th, there's going to be a national text message sent here in the United States of America. Everybody who has a cell phone is going to receive a text message from the United States government. And it's really potentially going to be a test run or even the live run. Because remember, a lot of the times they do test runs. They're really events that go live. We've seen it on the 11th of September. We've seen it at the Boston Marathon. We've seen it at all these schools over and over again. We've seen it at Event 201. We've seen it in Maui in the same exact day. So don't be surprised if it is. So let me explain this to you if you don't know about graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is something that is... it works very well with 5G, with all these towers around you. Don't be confused and don't be distracted by what 5G is really there for. For people out there that think it's there to speed up how fast you download a song or a video, don't even think that for a second. Because anybody out there who has a phone, did you notice the difference between 4G and 5G with your download speeds? Of course you did. It's all an illusion. It's about the frequency that they're able to send from those towers. And those frequencies are going to work with graphene oxide. So you might say, well, I don't understand. What's their graphene oxide in? Well, there's graphene oxide that's in people's bodies. Okay, you might say, how do people get graphene oxide in their bodies? Well, they willingly took it. They were able to convince people to take graphene oxide, and guess what? Conveniently, they're about to take it again. And conveniently, October 4th is the date of the emergency test. So let's take a look now at the movie The Cell. Okay, let's get an understanding. Watch some of the predictive programming here in this trailer. As far as people on their phones, people on their iBuds or whatever, the iPod things in their ears, their wireless devices in their ears, whether it's a phone up to their head or it's earphones in their ears, watch how the humans react when a pulse, a signal is sent through those phones, and watch how it causes what looks like a zombie apocalypse.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, buddy.
Terrorists, right? It's gotta be terrorists.
Don't use your cell phone.
People are gonna die.
You okay?
They act for the good of the group as a whole. They may be the next stage in human evolution. What's happening now is more than temporary anarchy. It's the start of a war.
So what you see there is a zombie apocalypse type movie theme, right? And we all know what they're referencing in the zombie apocalypse. Now, they've dumbed down the nation so much so that we actually, well, we're living amongst zombies. So they can't see this stuff. They think it's just another horror film. Oh, it's Stephen King, who has done movie after movie after movie of predictive programming. Stephen King, of course, if you don't know the movie It, what it's really about, read the book, because the ending of the book has to do with a giant ritual with children involved and doing disturbing acts, of course, and that never gets mentioned because most people only saw the movie, and Stephen King gets protected in our society as some type of artist and visionary. Where do you think Stephen got the script for Cell? Think he was sitting around his house and he just came up with it? Isn't it convenient that all of Stephen King's politics, all these people who write these things are all Democrats, who are all Satanists, really in disguise? Is it a surprise? No, of course not. He didn't write this movie because he came up with the idea. He wrote this movie because it's predictive programming. He knows exactly what's about to go down with the use of cell phones and 5G towers, as you saw in that trailer. So let's connect the dots, right? Let's hypothetically say that that movie's real, that the script in that movie is something that can be done in real life, because most people see that stuff and like, that's just science fiction, right? The only fiction that we're seeing is the stuff on the news day in and day out. That's the real fiction. What they're telling you is going on, what they're what they're explaining to you is right and wrong, how there's all this racism going on. That's the fiction that's going on. that they're pushing in the news. This stuff is actually things that they're capable of doing with technology. So let's look at it and say, could that really occur? Yes, it could. So you'd say, well, the cell phone, now imagine the cell phone acting with something inside of people's bodies that could cause a zombie apocalypse, right? Okay, well, a frequency would have to be sent. Well, when is a frequency and when is something being sent to the phone? Not just the frequency that you get from the cell phone on a day-to-day basis, but when is there going to be something that could potentially trigger through the phone with the graphene oxide in people's bodies? October the 4th. Perfect, right? And make sure, by the way, you turn your phones off on that day, unplug your Wi-Fi, maybe take a day off of the internet and go outside. Even if that isn't the day of the real drill, and even if you're not potion, you don't want to be near that type of technology because you don't even know who's shedding on you. And we know graphene oxide is in a lot of our food. And we know that graphene oxide is being sprayed on us from the sky as well. So don't even take a chance. It's not worth it. Give yourself a day off the grid. Everybody out there says they're off the grid. They're like, I'm off the grid. I'm off the grid. The stuff you talk about, I don't know about. Okay, well, you're still on a cell phone, right? So you're not really off the grid. I get that comment every day. I just scratch my head. I'm like, you're off the grid. You're writing to me a message on a YouTube video from your phone. So you're not technically off the grid. You might be pretty close to off the grid with a lot of the other things you've given up. But on that day, I recommend everybody go off grid. Okay? Everybody not upload. Maybe I'll still upload, put it on a timer in case anybody out there knows or sees it. And I'll just warn everyone to get off. Turn it all off. 220 is the time they're claiming that the frequency is going to be sent. But again, it could just be a test run. So let's think about that. Let's piece those things together. And then remember this, that the CDC has been talking about what on their website? What have they been talking about on the news, making you laugh about it, thinking it's a big joke? The CDC is supposed to be, don't question them. Anyone who questions them is horrible. They're the smartest people on earth. So the CDC suddenly has a sense of humor, we're supposed to believe, as the CDC is telling us of a coming zombie apocalypse. Sounds a lot like what we just saw in that trailer, right? And you might say, oh yeah, I remember that. You covered that, didn't you? I mean, another YouTuber covered that a couple of years ago, the zombie apocalypse, and nobody understood what it meant. Well, guess what? Conveniently, they're covering it again because this clip I'm about to show you is from a local affiliate station in Detroit that just covered the zombie apocalypse. And you're going to see more people leading up to the 4th of October cover the zombie apocalypse again because they're doing this. They're using sigil magic. They're showing you this stuff right in front of your faces. And of course, they're deflecting and using humor to dumb down people because they'll hear a conspiracy like this and they'll say those people are out of their minds. They're tinfoil hat wearers. Well, of course, these are all absolute morons. They think everything is a joke. They believe everything that the government says, and they would never think the government would do that to them. But take a look at this clip, just put up on a local affiliate in Detroit, once again talking about the CDC, who are not allowed to question, who apparently is allowed to crack jokes about things like this because it's all funny. Ha, 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 right? Because this is how sick they are. They're showing you right in front of your faces what their plan is with the coming zombie apocalypse. And of course, they look at it as a big joke because they don't want you to believe that we're living amongst zombies and that people are actually going to be activated who have something inside their body and that they have the ability to do it with these towers. But take a look at the quote-unquote humor.
A zombie apocalypse may not be top of your mind, but maybe it's something you want to consider. Thank you, Quincy. The CDC updating their tips to get you prepared. The actual CDC.
The actual CDC. So the extreme occurrence guidelines started as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek.
I thought I get to read this one.
Oh, well, okay, go ahead.
Can you roll the proper back just a little bit? I'll read it right. Here we go. The extreme occurrence guidelines started as a tongue-in-cheek government campaign, period, in done reading.
Okay, you have to
done reading. Tongue-in-cheek.
There we go. Tongue-in-cheek.
Tongue-in-cheek. But now offers a practical guide at any emergency, even zombies. They say the first step is creating an emergency kit with essentials to last several days, including water, non-perishable food, really with the video, non-perishable food, tools, and supplies, as well as extra clothing, bedding, and all of your important documents. You should, like the zombies are going to read the documents. You should also create an emergency plan and emergency contacts with a meeting location. And this is really from the CDC.
This is from the CDC. So I've got a list of demands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you really have a list of demands. Steve runs them in real quick.
Number one.
Okay.
This is on the CDC's website, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. We know how important they are. They guided us through a pandemic.
Should I be taking this serious?
I want, number one, an apology from everyone who tweeted me yesterday and said they couldn't believe that Lee Thomas has to deal with this all day. And how does he manage? Number one, apology.
Yeah.
Now,
wait a minute, y'all get some pen and paper. Write this down.
I remember some names.
Y'all get a piece of get an ice cube. Write it down on there. Throw it in
Real
the sink.
strong brother. Disappointed in you.
You remember them now.
Shelly, was it? Disappointed in you. Who's got the dog named Juju?
Oh, I love her. Juju's mom.
Juju's mom.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to read these tweets at the end of the show. We are confirming now this is on the CDC's website. Does that make you want to lean in and just pay attention a little bit, knowing that the actual government is saying it's not completely out of the realm of possibility? Doesn't mean it's the most likely thing, but it could be.
Because the government always gets it right. Thank you.
You got me there.
Lee Thomas, there'll be more next week, everybody.
We definitely trust them.
Next hour.
You got me there. Dang it.
Yep.
I still had some good points, though.
You really did, and I can't believe it's actually on the CDC website.
Doesn't that make you just say,
it does make me go,
what's up with that? I mean, somebody spent time. Can you imagine the government guy who went to school, did all this policy research,
PhD,
had to write a dissertation, and they said, we want you to extrapolate.
Put a file on his desk
some
that
information.
says zombies.
And he's like, I am quitting immediately.
Said,
I hate this job.
I hate you all.
I hate it here.
So I don't find anything funny about that at all. I mean, nobody really should, but most people will. They'll be like, that's just the CDC doing something cute for Halloween. You know, the CDC is the same people who are about to do this to all of the people who worship them and follow them because they don't give a crap about them. And of course, they'll diagnose them with something else being wrong with them, but we all know exactly what's going on. And there's conveniently a reason that they're rolling out this other one right now, halfway through September, and telling you to go get it immediately, right? Because there's going to be a trigger of events that occur in the coming future. Now, that clip was pretty horrifying to me, seeing the corporate Tavistock goons on the Detroit News laughing about this stuff, pretending they're funny and interesting and have personalities, where they're complete robots. Most of these people are that are pushed on television. Somehow there's dumb people out there that listen to these people, trust these people, and believe these people. And they actually think people like us are detriment to society because we're asking questions and we're not laughing and smiling about everything. You know, like I did in the previous video on Oprah. It's like they hit you in the face with a 2x4 and they want you to laugh and smile. Yeah, everything's great. What? Did somebody just shoot me? Yeah, everything's great. I just got shot by Big Brother. Don't worry about it. Things are great. Tasers. Everything's wonderful. That's how these people live for the most part. They're in complete, it's not denial. They live in just a different reality than we do. So, again, to recap, I wanted to do this video to show you what I talked about with the kill vector, the kill switch in a sense, right? The cell phone being able to trigger something that's already inside of people's bodies through frequencies, okay? Think about that, right? So we know why people have something in their body. The cell phone with the towers being able to trigger this that's inside their bodies. Them planning on October 4th to send out a massive signal to everyone who has a phone. Thus, the signal could actually activate what's inside of people's bodies that they willingly put in their bodies. And again, some people unwillingly have been shedded on by other people. Some people unwillingly are obviously getting the dose of this in their food and from the skies. But the people who directly have it in their veins, well, they're going to be the ones who are really affected by it. But I wouldn't even take a chance at a situation like this, even if it is just a test run. And then on top of that, you look at the date of October 4th, the fact that they're telling you they're going to send a signal to your phone that could interact with a certain something in people's bodies. You also have the government talking about a coming zombie apocalypse, which they love to just kind of correlate with Halloween. Isn't that funny? Yes, it is funny, isn't it? We live among such zombies that they're literally going to be activated very, very soon. So if you didn't see the video I did yesterday, or whenever you're watching this, you can go through my videos as long as it's within the last 2 weeks of me uploading this one. Watch that video. I'll have it linked below so you can watch it. Make sure you sub to my other backup channel as well if you've missed any videos. I'm uploading some over there. Also, Uprising Revival. And check out the website, uprisingrevival.com. People need to be able to connect the dots. The 5G towers are not there so that you can download a song faster. Do people not get it? You think these big cell phone companies are doing it because they're like, well, we need better service in these areas. We need to make sure that they're putting all this money, the government's putting all this money into it, and they're just popping up, and then they're hiding them, they're disguising them as trees and other things in some places around schools because they don't want people to be suspicious of what they're doing. And they're like, it's not an eyesore. Yeah, they're doing it so you can get the next Backstreet Boys song faster. No, they're not. They're doing it because of the frequency that could be emitted from there. A very strong frequency that could be emitted from there and trigger something, along with the combination of the cell phone. This stuff could all go viral. As you know, we discuss a coming zombie apocalypse the CDC talks about. Nobody seems to get it. This is why people like me have been censored year after year after year. We've all been talking about it since it was rolled out, wondering when the date would be. Well, what better time? What better time a few years later, after they've scrubbed the internet of stories and videos like this, after they've convinced people that there's another one coming to go get more? Yeah, it's not just about your IgG4 and your immune system breaking down and turning on itself, which is something I'm covering over on the website. It's also about people being triggered and activated. So warn people about it. Again, you could say, well, that's just being crazy and all that stuff. Well, they shouldn't be listening to the channel then, okay? We need to start realizing the capabilities they have with technology and what they're trying to do to people. The mindset that people have of them rolling down the street with tanks and a military and coming after us and coming to our front door is not what they have in mind. Everything they do is called silent war. They do it psychologically, and they do it without your eyes being able to see it. Thus, they can get away with it. And they could just say, all these people, all these got sick. Oh, no, they'll never tell you what happens when they actually activate this on the 4th, etc. Because people will just get diagnosed with different things, right? And they'll just say, well, that just happened to them. Oh, they suddenly died. Oh, it's not going to make the news. They're going to have a news story that says 1 million people died today in America, right? So if people don't hear about it, they won't know about it. And of course, the media is not going to tell people about it. Why would they? They're the ones responsible for it, working with the devil. So check out my other channel as well. Check out that video I mentioned earlier. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about October the 4th. Do you think it's going to be an actual live drill? Because most of the time it is. Are people going to be triggered? Absolutely they will be, I'm sure. I thank you guys for being here. Hope to see you over on the website, uprisingrevival.com. Thanks again, everybody. God bless you, as always, and your families.